sort of old married couple
Yeah.
bit of this is slightly in contrast with where you are in your journey, because you're like playing piano and we have the bedroom, so you have that sort of like trying to keep everybody going.
So to find a cinematic language that would approximate that and be graceful and, again, simple in a way. Like on the airplane, we would shoot the whole scene, you know, and Jay and Ron are talking and the group is talking, and then Jay gets up to go to the bathroom and he says, "Are you running to something or from something?" And he says, "Yes." And he gives him this kind of pat on the cheek, and he walks and he opens the curtain, and we've got an entire cast of characters waiting on this other set. And then young Jay starts his Chekhov monologue, and we would shoot that whole sequence from that perspective. And you know, all movies have their language, and part of my job is to figure out how it can be stretched or how it might evolve throughout the course of a movie. And so also by setting these memories, we're also setting a language for the movie going forward. So each memory is different and evolves, not only the methodology of entering into it, but also when they come, how they come, the way they are for Jay. I think part of the reason the memories work is that they do feel organic. And you could feel it on the day too. And there's a kind of love of the form that's baked into it. And I felt like we need to be true and honor the form. You know, there's something old-fashioned about it too. It was always interesting to me with George too, how even in the memories where it's the same take, we haven't done anything different, there's no makeup change or anything, but he could appear a movie star on the plane and then walk into the memory, and then you'll see his face, and suddenly age almost seems to reveal itself on his face. For an American movie star to do something like that is, I found, kind of really exciting.
Coming to the end.
The end of what?
The end of the movie, the end of the shoot.
There's always the next one.
Are you listening to anything
I started getting dry eyeballs from nowhere, like there was grit or something.
Emily and I wrote that scene, and I imagined a fluidity. It was really when Linus and I sat down and looked at it together where we felt like it should be done in one, because it shouldn't stop. The quote that opens the movie, the Sylvia Plath quote, is part of the shot.
It's a piece of glass, right?
It's a piece of glass. We did it in black. This is something Linus came up with, which I loved. I mean, because I was not even bold enough to think, oh, we'll do the quote too there. And he was like, why don't we do the whole thing that way? And you can't see the writing until the white smoke starts to reveal it. And then we would rack focus through the glass to the man who says, "We're coming to the end," which again is the first line of the movie. And that would sort of set us off and running onto this long shot, which then comes all the way around, and George then has to perform both as Jay and as the character, and it has to be good in the scene as well. So on one hand, here's all the madness around Jay Kelly, and you know how you get to see what an actor does, which is they have to deliver amidst all this sort of maelstrom around them.
That's a crazy thing when you die. Everything you thought you were isn't true.
But it's also, I think, was a way to kind of tell the story of the movie in the beginning, in the opening shot. And it, again, all this seemingly unrelated things, you know, all the moments of our lives that, you know, that occasionally, you know, come together and crystallize into something that's coherent. And it's the things that make us up. And then he dies. I mean, he dies as the character in the movie. And I thought, well, it's, yeah, in a sense, it's like, it is a movie about facing mortality, I mean, amongst all the things. And it's something that he can do easily as an actor, but of course is difficult for anybody to do in reality. I mean, ostensibly, he's the one creating these memories, whether he realizes it or not. And I always saw them as headwinds. You know, he's moving at this clip, but they're not stopping him in the beginning, but they're slowing him down. And they're also affecting the next memories. And they're affecting how he starts to behave in the present. And you also have in the present, you have his sort of support team starting to peel away and get fed up with him.
And I appreciate the apology, but I can't work with you anymore. It's not good for me.
He is getting stripped down, and it was always kind of amusing to us to sort of have this sort of notion of like, you peel away all the lines of defense, you know, the same way we we might in a therapy session. The way we started to shoot Jay starts to change too. We're starting to place him more into the environment. It's an environment that he doesn't have control over. And again, framing wise too, you look at like he's at this dinner with Stacy Keach's character, and suddenly like the flowers are blocking his face, the father blocks him with the sweater. We shoot low on the table, so like arms are getting wine and things, and Jay's talking, and he's not the focus anymore. He's just a character in the landscape. Visually, it's constructed in a way that it's very subtly shifting as the journey continues. And again, it's sort of, we're talking about the sort of evolution of what becomes possible. Frances Ha, the camera never moved really when Frances or a character didn't motivate it. And then there's just a moment at the end when she has her own apartment, and it's sort of this sort of moment of arrival for her where we just push in, and it's very simple, and it's not something you see a million times in a movie, but suddenly in that movie it's like something is released. And in this way it was almost the reverse, which is the camera almost starts to move back, it starts to slow down, and it's Jay who wants to keep going.
I didn't execute it the way I planned it. That's
Just be honest with me, Jay. Stop rationalizing and trying to defend yourself. Just stop.
That woods scene, I imagine that's almost, in terms of this, something you're writing toward.
Right, absolutely. And yes, and as he enters the woods, we show him the little white suit in this big wilderness. And it's something too, it's the memories and the methodology of the memories, the way we've developed this also allows for, when he's on the phone with Jessica, for her to then appear there in person.
I'm feeling bad about the last time we were together. Sorry about that. I just couldn't take that guy. You still seen him?
Yes.
Part of our reasoning for that was even sort of like, do we really want to have this great dramatic sort of confrontation between the two of them on the phone only? Do we want to cut between that? Do we want to see her in her kitchen in San Diego? No. Like, we want to see them face to face. And
you've established a language.
And we've established
that
a language that allows for it, and it allows to sort of evolve, because it's kind of not a memory, but it's a fantasy too. And so we shot all the forest stuff and day for night as well, which gives it this sort of ghostly feeling, which I love. And then it's really just two amazing actors.
You don't have to worry about me, Dad. I'm okay. I love what I do. I have friends. I'm gonna have a good life, just not with you. And you're okay too. You're a good movie star. You make a lot of people happy.
Riley is so open and emotional in that scene, and just beautiful. And what you see George doing there, the changes in his face and the sort of inside becoming externalized, which is the process that he's going through in the movie. I think it's a remarkable performance in that scene in particular.